This is the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast, brought to you by Cisco. Cisco is here to help set you up for success by delivering high-quality foods, products, and services for your restaurant. Recording live to digital from the NCF&B studios in downtown Raleigh. Join us as we lead you into the kitchen, inside the bottle, and into the minds of the food and beverage industry. And now, it's the bologna sandwich and lox and bagels. It's Max Trujillo and Matthew Weiss.
Hello, and thank you for listening and watching the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your co-host, Max Trujillo.
And I am your co-host, Matthew Weiss, and we are in the beautiful mountain city of Asheville, North Carolina. And we are here for many reasons. One, we are celebrating this great festival called Chow with one of the creators of this festival. And this man is a creator of many things, a multitude of things. He is a James Beard Award winner. He created in 2009 Chai Pani, and in 2017, the great brand of Spice Walla. He is Meherwan Irani. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Quite an introduction.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm impressed.
That was the short version. There's a whole lot more. I mean, gosh, Bucks, let's talk about Chow specifically. Matt and I went in 2019. When was the first year?
I think 2018 was the first year.
Okay, all right. So we went, had a blast. It was so fun, and it's just, I liked the fact that you sprawled it around the city. There were things to do. I was like hanging out with Sam over at Videri Chocolate. We went to French Broad Chocolatier. And so I'm like, oh, cool. I'm hanging out with the chocolate man at another chocolatier. And that was just a cool blend of bringing people together. Saw Charlie at Sovereign Remedies like walking by, and he's like, you better not come to my place. And we're like, okay. So we all hopped in and drank and ate at his place later on. And then just kind of like, it was a vibe and everything was cool. And it just had this beautiful, cultural experience. I guess that was the intention, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think this all started, coming into 2018, 2019, the food festival scene was just growing and becoming a bigger and bigger thing throughout the Southeast in particular. I mean, Charleston has a great food and wine festival. And even Greenville had a great food and wine festival. And I remember a few of us restaurateurs, I think it was myself, John Fleer, Katie Button, and Jill Radigan from French Broad Chocolate, were just sitting around and just sort of, almost marveling, well, how does this town that has so much culinary firepower that people love to visit, that would almost, people jokingly call it the Aspen of the East.
Yeah.
How come we don't have a food festival here?
Yeah.
And of course, not knowing what we didn't know, we all looked at each other, well, let's just have a food festival.
Oh my goodness,
But from the get-go, the ethos was that we made a list of what we liked about food festivals and didn't like.
Nice.
And ironically, the thing that we didn't like about food festivals was the focus and the emphasis on celebrity. Celebrity chefs and how, quote unquote, the talent would be these name brand chefs that would be flown in from all over the country, and people would show up to see. But, for me, if I go to a food festival, I want to actually celebrate or participate in celebrating what's local to that particular area that I'm in.
Yeah.
Not some chef that's not their sort of, their food way, if you will, and they're just coming in from somewhere else, and then it just seems like a contrived bacchanalia of just drink and booze and just,
Lollapalooza,
exactly,
touring band, but it's a chef,
So from, to your point, from the get-go, we sort of created this ethos that we wanted to invite. If we were inviting chefs from outside the area, they should have some connection with the foodways, the Appalachian foodways, where we are, Western North Carolina, the mountains. And but for the most part, look to the talent that's already here, often not celebrated, and really put an emphasis on the makers, the producers of the product that these chefs are, putting in the restaurants and putting on the plate. So that's how it started, and it was just natural that out of that just came this sense of it's not just a food festival, it's a culture, community, and food festival.
Yeah, because there's an element of art and there's music. It's more than just the food and drink.
Yeah, because when we start making a list of, well, what are the makers and the producers that create the experience that a diner has when they sit down at a table, it doesn't stop at just the ingredients.
Yeah.
The plates you're eating off of,
Yeah.
the music in the background, the artwork on the walls, just the entire aesthetic of the experience is part of it. And what I love about this town is how many restaurateurs look locally to create all the various pieces of the story they want to tell, whether it's the plates on the table. I mean, you more often than not see East Fork pottery being the plate of choice, which is a local incredible pottery.
East Fork?
East Fork.
Okay.
East Fork, and they make some of the most incredible plateware you've ever seen in your life. And most restaurants, and they got their start by restaurants supporting them by purchasing their plates for the restaurants, and now they're a nationally known firm. From French brought chocolate to honey makers to artists. I mean, you'll see in most restaurants just a lot of Asheville, a lot of North Carolina.
And so, as far as people and growth, like what is the end goal? I mean, you started out with a certain amount of people. Do you look at, how many people bought tickets this year, or how many people are involved? Like, what does success look like in that festival?
Success looks like expanding beyond the idea of it being a 3-day festival.
Okay.
Success looks like a year-long enterprise of community and good. We'll call it a foundation, call it a mission, but where Chow is known, where this 3-day weekend is a celebration of the work that's done all year long to continue to create food, community, culture, and storytelling. And hopefully at some point, if the financials make sense, to start helping out, giving back, giving young chefs a start. I mean, real estate has gotten incredibly expensive in Asheville. Cost of doing business has gotten expensive. It wasn't that way when I first came here.
Yeah.
And that's why you have so many great restaurants here, is because young, I wasn't that young at the time, but many young, people that were obsessive about food or art or production could come to Asheville and get a start here. And it wasn't expensive, it wasn't difficult, and they found a willing audience and community that was really into the idea of, you come to Asheville to start your dream. Well, financials do play a part in starting the dream. So I think the end goal for the foundation would be to be able to financially support makers, producers in the food world to get a start in Asheville.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And for this weekend to then be a celebration of the success of the work of the year.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really bold vision for the board. I mean, I'm no longer on the board. I stepped off, after having served my time.
Yeah.
But the current board and the director have a very bold vision for Chow, which I think is going to be huge.
Thanks for listening to the NC F&B podcast. And if you've stuck with us this long, review us on iTunes, and remember, 5 stars are encouraged.